Just a friendly reminder that the opinions expressed on this show are not worth a Canadian penny, so disregard anything you hear that might get anyone in trouble. And despite some of the great ideas you may hear, don't try them at home. Go to a friend's house instead.
It's time to get a gun. That's what I've been thinking. Well, I could afford one. And if I did just a little less drinking, time to put something between me and the sun. When the talking is over, it's time to get a gun.
Hello and welcome to Slamfire Radio. This is episode 298 for April 4th, 2019. I'm one of your hosts, Frosty.
I'm one of your hosts, the classy one.
No, you're not, though. See, it goes Matthew, Adriel, Trevor, Kelly. So it was supposed to be me after. And why do I hear him? What's going on?
Because I just turned on.
You did that thing. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, look, it's supposed to be you. I'm out of order.
Right. I'm
not out of order. You're out of order.
And
They're all out of order.
I am the Frolate.
Yeah. Oh, and I'm the classy one.
There you go. See, that wasn't so
Out of
hard.
order, class.
Kelly, so,
I'm not reading.
I feel sorry for Christina because she has to listen to me, listen to you guys when I'm not on. All right. and so obviously, like, she's got to hear me go,
What
no,
are you
that's not.
counting now?
Just me trying to correct you guys. And no, that's not how it is. That's not what I said. That's not that. And so she's always like, they can't hear you, Trevor. They can't hear you, Trevor. I'm like, it doesn't matter. Anyway, Kelly, you said because of the fact 1,432 times last
Because
episode.
of the fact that. No.
Fact. It is a
It's
fact.
fact.
In fact.
It is, in fact, a fact that Kelly's favorite figure of speech is because of the
Anyways.
fact.
Anyways. And
I
stuff
got
and
the
things.
timer out, Kelly.
Stop.
I got the timer out.
out.
Trevor,
Yep.
you should have showed up then.
I'm here this week, timer in hand, to police your speech dialogue, or your
Oh.
speech patterns.
Unknown speech patterns will be checked and measured and
I'll
accounted
have a whole
for.
list up here. Don't say anyways. Don't say.
You haven't said anyways. I got you off the anyways because of the timer. Now, because of the fact that the timer is out, you will stop saying because of the fact. Because
Trevor,
of the fact. Like everything is a fact.
Can you put another one on there? Because you just said the fact.
All right, done.
Add to the timer. All right. What we did in Guns this week is brought to you by the Calgary Shooting Centre, Canada's premier firearms retailer. What do they got for us this week, Trevor?
Swiss K31 rifles. They got a bunch of other stuff too. If you could go to the CGN and go to Calgary Shooting Center forum on CGN, that's where I grabbed this stuff. But they've got some K31 rifles this week. They've got photos of them there on CGN, and they all have excellent bores. They're above average condition. And even one of them has a micro adjustable tangent sight. They're asking $850 each. So if you're into a micro adjustable tangent sight, you can get it for the same price as the other ones. I'm assuming because they just put one price on all of these. And of course, to get these or anything else, it's orders at theshootingcenter.com. I probably need a K31 because as milsurps go, they are known to be above average when it comes to accuracy. And if you can still find
And
that
fit and finish and
they're Swiss,
everything.
right?
And they weren't made during wartime when they're like they need to pump out millions of them. They put them out on their own time, all meeting QC and QA
And the ammo is considered like match grade ammo. It's very
Because
nice
it's
stuff.
Swiss.
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
There's Swiss cheese, Swiss clocks, everything.
I was going to say their army knife, but if you want to talk about their cheese.
Cheese, yeah. The cheese is like the specs on it are top notch, really.
It's got, because of the fact that it has holes in it, right, Kelly?
You bet. It's delicious. It's nutty.
Kelly.
Trevor, you did something interesting in Guns this week. Tell us about your week.
I did. So
Or
I
couple
got
weeks,
Jordan
rather.
from the Nighttime Podcast out to...
That was awesome, by the way.
It was awesome. It was so awesome. We went to the Nat Chuck's Range in East Hants, Nova Scotia. I think it's East Hants, somewhere in that neck of the woods. So yeah, so as Jordan mentioned on his show and on this show, he'd never fired a gun before. And so if the listeners are interested, they can go on any of his social media and see the video. He made about it's 10 plus minutes long anyway,
Yeah.
of him and I shooting. And so what we did was we brought the firearms that Lindsay and James had access to. If you don't know who Lindsay and James are, you're way behind in this story. To sum it up, Jordan from the Nighttime Podcast it's up to like 6 or 7 parts now,
It's
series on Lindsay's Savannah Raff, whatever, and her boyfriend James. They were going to try and commit a mass shooting, and Jordan and I got talking about the firearms involved in that case, and this evolved to me taking him to a range to test fire the firearms that they had access to. Those firearms in question were a Savage Model 99 in 300 Savage and a Kui Model 84 single shot 12 gauge shotgun. So Captain Andy and I brought him to the range, started him off on the rifle, and I gave him the simplest of crash courses, and we put him on the clock and let him shoot. Well, he was supposed to shoot 5 rounds at the target. He only put 4 in the rifle. We put the target at 25 meters, and this is a couple of weeks ago now, so my memory is a little foggy.
He hit 3, and 1 was 3 would have
3 out of the 4 hits.
4,
yeah.
right.
What was the speed like?
Almost 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
To make his 3 hits?
Yep. No,
Yep.
It was more than 2 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah. No, it's 2 minutes, but after the first one, he had to
It
talk
was
about
140 seconds.
Yeah.
140 seconds, yeah.
You got to par these guys out, Trevor. Like, new shooter, they're too slow. Par time. Sorry, bud.
Yeah. No,
Time's
you're right.
up.
I should have parred him out.
Well,
You're right.
he shot the first shot, and then he went, and then he had a little talk about it, and then he did the rest of them. He got quicker as he went along.
No, I think you're thinking about the shotgun. He didn't talk about it, but yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Maybe he did because the little thing, the weird my Model 99 has a thing, and I don't know if they all have this thing. There's a spring that it's a little piece of sheet metal leaf spring for the safety, and it doesn't do its job. It's supposed to hold the safety back. So what happens with my particular Model 99, even though I've replaced the spring, I thought the spring was originally broken because of what was happening. So I ordered a replacement spring. What's happening is under recoil, the safety engages.
That
So
was
you-
you. The safety.
I've got a
It
Savage.
happened, it happened to him too,
622
and I
that
had
does
to
that
tell
too.
him to turn it off.
Oh.
Yours as well, Adriel?
I've got a 22, like a Savage Click Clack 22, and it's got one of those crappy leaf dent safeties, and same thing happens with it.
Yeah. So imagine, if James had this rifle, never fired it before, he would have fired one shot, safety would have engaged, and he would have been like trying to figure out why he couldn't cycle
Trigger
the
freeze
action
on the
right?
next one. He probably would have cycled it because it wasn't working. It still wouldn't have worked.
Yep. Not a good choice. So anyway, we had a lot of fun. Jordan learned a lot. And after we were done shooting, now I remember Kelly, you said, "So what do you think? You're going to be a gunny?" And Jordan was like, "No, I
No.
zero interest in firearms. I'm just playing along. Going to go shoot some guns because I never did before. It's part of the series." Well, Kelly, I don't know, man. It's possible. He was pumped. He had a lot of fun, and he had no idea of the community, the culture, and he was really impressed by the range and the range safety officers, the professionalism, the quality of the facility. He didn't know that this was a thing, so he's like, "Oh, dude, I could totally see myself going back there on a weekend when I got some company from out of town or something, and we need some activity to do. Yeah, take them shooting." So we might have one. Anyway, it's really awesome. You're right. Oh my God, look at that! You weren't kidding, Adriel.
About
That
the
is
cat
a lot
hair.
of cat hair. Well, what are you gonna do?
Shave the cat.
Yeah,
Shave the
whatever.
cat. Yeah.
Shave the cat. No.
No.
And then, so later on that day, I went to an indoor match with Steven and Captain Andy. It's my second indoor match in PCC, and it was horrible. I had a couple of reshoots. 2 because the timer didn't pick up all the shots. 1, my RO, to Andy, interfered with me. Oh, so we're done shooting the stage, and he looks at me, he goes, turn around, face up range, don't look at the targets. What's going on? All right, so I turn around, I face up range. He goes, I interfered with you. Do you want to reshoot? I'm thinking, you did interfere with me, slow me down a little bit. More importantly, I had to tap rack over here, and that cost me time on the clock. So, yeah, I should probably take the reshoot. All right, no problem. Patch and reset.
How did he interfere with you?
He got in the way when I was moving. I bumped into him. So the only time you are given the option to reshoot in IPSC is if the arrow interfered with you. You are given the choice. Any other time, if you are told to reshoot, you reshoot or you take a 0. The one and only time where you get to decide whether you want it or not is during a case of RO interference. But you can't look at the tablet first. You can't find out your time. You can't look at your scores. So this is why Andy had me face uprange away from the targets. And the reason why he had me face uprange of the away from the targets because he was pretty confident that I had 100% alpha, and I did have 100% alpha. And the reshoot sucked, and it was a medium course of fire, so I just shoot it, taking it. And then so I'm a gamer. If I can game a start position to get an advantage, I absolutely will, right? And I always think I'm so clever when I do it. Well, the reshoot gods just destroyed me. I had a good run, but unfortunately all the shots didn't get picked up, and I decided to take the reshoot. So the start position for handgun shooters was standing with your hands touching the X's on the wall. So you're stuck in the center of the wall. You've got to, on the timer, take your hands off the X's, draw your pistol, run to the right, shoot some targets, perform a reload on the way to the left, and shoot some targets, right? The start position for PCC said simply this: muzzle pointed at the dot on the wall. So I stood all the way to the left side and pointed my muzzle at the dot like this. So I was already in position to shoot and didn't have to move from the center of the stage to the left. And so I did it the first time. It was great again, but the timer didn't pick up all the shots. So on the reshoot, I had a tap rack on the left side, shot my targets, and then stood there like a dummy. Oh, right. I've got to now go over to the right side and shoot the rest of them. Like, I literally just did this. Like, seconds ago, I just did it, and I'm doing it again. Completely forgot my stage plan. So I walk over like a dummy because I'm like, oh, well, it's gone now. Screw it, right? So I'll just give up, which is always the wrong attitude. So I mosey my slow, fat, old butt over to the other side, forgetting to reload my mag. So I get over there and woo. And then on the long course of fire, the smart plan was to break the round counts up into 6s. So shoot 6 rounds at these 3 targets, change your mag, shoot 6 rounds at these 3 targets, change your mag. But I had figured out I could do it in something like 10, 10, 6, and 4. I mean, it's a long time ago. It's like 2 weeks ago now.
And that works perfectly as long as you don't miss, right?
Yeah.
No, it works perfectly as long as you remember to do it in 10s and not 6s. So I did the first 10 okay, and then the next 10 I didn't do in 10. I did in 6. And then so I dropped my mag too soon, and then got to the position where I was supposed to finish the other 4 to make 10, dropped that mag again. So now, like, I probably don't even have enough mags to finish this thing. And then ran down to try and, like, what the hell, we're just going to... So anyway, I ran down, opening up on a partial, so it was a full, like a scoring target with a penalty target over top. So I'm, like, pumping round after round into the penalty target. Like, it's just all falling apart. Somehow, I managed to finish second in PCC. I mean, yeah, there was only 3 guys, but still, I still managed to beat one of them.
Okay, but that doesn't matter. How did you place overall? Because
we
that's
know
all that matters in IPSC.
That's all that matters in IPSC
Yes.
is the overall, right? That is the most important thing at any match that includes PCC. If you're not going for the overall, you're doing it wrong. And so I think overall I was like 5th place or something.
Oh, that's so good.
It was a huge match, like relative term. I get it, but you're talking about a small indoor range and level 2 match, 7 stages, and there was like over 70 shooters showed up.
Long time.
Yeah, so they do a squad on Saturday night, and then 3 squads on Sunday. The first indoor match I went to this winter, I took the last squad of the day on Sunday, which was all I could get into because registration filled up like that, which meant that I had to leave Dartmouth at like 5:30 in the afternoon and drive the 6 hours home, which meant I went to bed like really late, way too late for this old guy, which makes for a painful day at work on Monday. So the match director started to open up a Saturday night squad. Well, this works out so well because you get down there on Friday, you arrive around 8, you start drinking or like right away, but you don't go ridiculous because you got to shoot the next day at supper time. So you do go ridiculous. I was still hungover.
Yeah, I was going to ask.
I drank all the rum, like all of it. There's no rum left in Nova Scotia. There's no, all of it. I had it all in one weekend, which is, I don't, Nova Scotia is like, they're all pirates basically because they're on the ocean. So I do feel really bad about drinking all of their rum, but I had no choice. I was left unsupervised and all the rum got consumed. So much so that like, I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to like take Jordan shooting. It was a hard go until I got some food into me.
Taking a new guy out shooting with the smell of booze coming in off your breath.
my pores, right? It was probably literally oozing out of my anyway. So man, like not next time. Well, next time is a different story. It's a level 3 and it's a 2-day match. There'll be no shenanigans. Muffin's coming with us and stuff. So
I like these.
No, because if we have 10 people shooting PCC, there'll be a President's Medal, and I would sure like to win the first President's Medal in PCC. So, but man, I got to stop changing my mags like someone who's got cerebral palsy because I'm like,
really? You just said that?
Yes. Is that bad? Did I cross the line? Okay.
I mean, we cross the line fairly regularly. It's a
true.
common fixture on this show.
Oh my god!
They've come to expect it by now.
I guess, Kelly, what I should have said was something. I got to stop changing my mag like someone with epilepsy because, right? I'm really like tapped. Like, oh man, I'm not.
Stop shooting your stages like you've got Tourette's as well.
There is some random vulgarity that came out. That we have video evidence of that. So. It's one of those matches where I shot 7 stages, but I only posted my best 4 on Instagram. It's one of those, yeah. But yeah, I'm not inserting my mags like a man, and so I'm getting the old tap rack thing. So yeah. So there, Kelly. I made a gender joke and two disabled people's jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, stand by. I gotta get something because this is. I want to do a show and tell.
Okay.
Do the Jeopardy thing. Oh, don't do that. He's got brain cancer. Don't do that.
It's got pancreatic cancer, but I don't see how that's
Stage
relevant
4. Yes.
whatsoever.
He's just offended everybody on the planet now.
Good. As long as it's evenly applied to everyone.
Well,
then it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yes.
We're good.
Oops. All right. Look at this thing of beauty.
It's a rifle, hey? Yeah.
This is this is my latest addition to my Lee Enfield collection. I bought it from an IPSC shooter in Nova Scotia who was clearing out his Safe Queens. This is just an amazing. Oh, it's been refinished, so let's calm down. Yeah, it's beautiful, but in fairness, it's been refinished.
For the age of that thing, I mean, that's some great looking wood, Trevor.
Thank you. I do have really nice looking wood, and this wood belongs to a Lee Enfield #1 Mark III BSA. The trigger on this thing, I will put the trigger on this thing up against like a modern day. Oh, God, it's so nice. There's absolutely zero creep on this trigger.
Have you shot it yet?
How is there zero creep? Though that should be a 2-stage trigger on that thing.
Look at it.
Yeah, we got it.
That's
Seriously?
real weird. Real weird.
Okay, is that the phone?
Yeah, it's Officer Frank.
This is very unprofessional.
Very
unprofessional,
It's
Trevor.
Thursday evening. Doesn't he know you're podcasting?
So every 303 that I've handled, they have a 2-stage trigger on them.
Yes.
So that one's 1 stage. You got to do the bang in the butt on the ground thing and see if it will it'll go off.
Are you going to do that?
Probably not with a live round. I might.
No.
Do it with
be
a dummy.
Yeah,
like a training.
Well, there'll be a dummy doing it. Don't worry. Anyway, but
you don't need to do that with a round in it. What are you talking about? Just you just like I wouldn't do it upstairs because
because well, she's not home.
Oh, do whatever you want. It's your house. Did it fire?
Holy shit! It worked. It went off.
See, you got an unsafe gun, man.
Oh, didn't that time. Maybe I didn't cock it the first time.
I don't know.
No, it's fine.
No, it's fine.
Anyway, it's a number 1 Mark III BSA, but it's a civilian rifle. Look at the side of the, I forget what this part is called on the receiver, in between the
Band on the wrist there.
Yeah, there's a name for it. I heard Gun Jesus say it the other day. This is where it should have the crown. This is where it should say smelly. So this is an SMLE, which is a short magazine Lee Enfield. It doesn't mean that the magazine is short. It just means that the rifle is shorter than the previous version. So this was a sporterized rifle that's been returned to its full wood military configuration. And I collect Lee Enfields, but I'm not like a purist or anything like that. Like all I wanted was a British number 4, a Canadian number 4, my Savage number 4, and I got a Jungle. I had no intention of getting one of these, but I paid $400.
Oof. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good price.
I've already been offered almost double, and I'm not selling it. I am selling a bunch of guns because of something else I bought, but I'm not selling this one.
That's what else you bought.
What else did I buy? Where am I? We're not there yet.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I guess. Yeah, we're kind of there. So guns. Oh, yeah. Okay, that other thing I bought. So I'm selling. Well, I was selling 12 guns, but some of them have sold. I still have some for sale.
What do you?
You just want to rip off a couple on the air right now, and
yeah.
What are we?
Yeah, we're gonna do auction.
Okay, I'm selling
555. Do I hear 555?
I am.
$5.
I've got 2 1022s for sale. I've got my original.
What?
Yeah, I got my original from 1984, unmolested, unchecked, unchanged. That one I am asking 300 for. I've got my one in the camo stock with the Cerakoted receiver and barrel. That one I'm asking 325 for. My Savage model. Savage.
Savage model what?
99. The rifle that Jordan shot. I've got that for sale.
Okay, but back it up to the 1022s. How much would you sell them to your co-host / Maple Cedar to? Something offline. Let me know.
Do you want them both?
Maybe. I don't know. Let me know.
Because if we combo them up, I can give you a package deal.
Okay, let me know after.
All right. What else I got for sale? Yeah, I got the my. Ooh, check this out. This is my STI Apiro. So it's a 40 caliber standard IPSC pistol. It's got an island barrel. It's got the new DVC grip.
Fancy.
It's got a cylinder and slide trigger group in it. What else? What else did I do?
A magwell.
It's got it comes with a magwell, but I put a thumb rest on it. It's got a Manny dot front sight on it, a Wilson Combat rear sight on it. So this with 5 brand new mags is going for $2,750. The gun alone, is typically $3,000. Winchester model 9422 XTR. So that's a lever action 22. Looks like a 30-30. Looks like a model 94, but it's in 22.
Yeah.
That's going for $950. Negotiable. It's got a couple of dings here and there. So, and then I got my kitty cat for sale.
No, really?
Yeah. I got my kitty cat for sale. $500 for that.
Wow.
And then I've got this. So this is.
Oh yeah.
You won at the charity shoot.
Correct. I won this at the charity shoot. It's a Cincinnati 870 clone. It takes Mossberg chokes, an adjustable rear sight, and a rail. It's got a 6-shell caddy on it.
It's been done over by S&J, right? That's an S&J.
I think that's who did it.
Or a TACOR done over. Someone did that over.
S&J did it over. Yeah.
S&J did it over. So they did the Cerakote on it, and they did that coating.
Yeah.
Where they coat parts gold.
Titanium, nitride, or whatever, yeah.
Right.
Coating.
Makes the part super slick. And then it's got a Magpul 870 rear stock on it.
Yes,
cool handguard with a rail on it for a light. And this has had the chamber polished by Denis, and it runs super, super, super reliable. That one I'm asking, I think, $425 for. So, yep.
That's a good deal.
Yeah. I got a Tanfoglio 1911 M45, but I'm not even going to show it because I want to keep it. But if somebody's like, so what I did was I made I built 2 of these 1911s for Classic Division, made them identical. One's in 9mm, one's in 45. They both have Dawson front sights. They both have DTS safeties. They both have Dawson mag wells. They both have STI trigger groups. The triggers, the hammers, the sears, the disconnectors, all STI. I was asking $950 a piece for these. The gun alone, without all the parts, is $1,000. So I'm asking less than retail.
Did you sell them yet?
I sold the 9mm. The 45 is not sold yet, and I just loaded like 1,500 rounds of 45. So
you'll get another 45 at some point.
Yeah, that one's really good though. They got wolf springs in them and stuff. So
yeah, but gotta make payments.
Well, yeah, I guess. Yeah. So the reason why I sold all this was I brought back my Colorado, traded it in on a 2019 Chev Silverado Z71 LT Trail Boss Edition. Yeah.
Pickup truck.
Full size truck. I'm apparently I've got a membership card coming to the full size truck boys club, something like that. All my friends with full size trucks are now.
You got to move out to Alberta. You'll fit in more here.
Definitely. This thing's got a 2-inch factory lift on it. It's got 33s for tires, mud, off-road type all-terrain tires. Yeah, it's sweet looking truck. Z71 Trail Boss LT. Love it.
Now when you go to the range, you can throw all the steel in the back and scrape up the box with
funny story.
Props and targets in there.
Funny story. So my Colorado came with a spray-on bed liner, and I bought the rubber mat to put on, or to put into the bed on top of that, plus I had a tonneau cover. So the rubber mat was there because that spray-on box liner would get scratched from all the steel I pull around the range. So for this truck, I wanted a spray-on bed liner. It arrived without one. All right. Well, we did a lot of negotiating, a lot of arguing back and forth, fighting over price and stuff. And they were installing the tonneau cover, and the technician, employee, whatever, who installed the tonneau cover, he left his work boots on, didn't cover them with those little booties, and he climbed in the back of the bed in my new 2019 Silverado with mud and dirt on his work boots, and just scratched the bed of my brand new truck, all to get out, like down to
Did you have a meltdown?
Didn't have to. I didn't even have to. There was no go button hit. There was a go button hit yesterday in the middle of the dealership. I was yelling from the middle of the dealership at my salesman. But yeah, true story. But no meltdown at all. We were doing the walk around, the PDI, and So this truck's got a lot of really ridiculous features that you don't need but are really cool and you like to show off for your friends. And one of them is you hit the fob twice, and the tailgate, it's got a power tailgate, it lowers on its own. Some of the LT models, it'll maybe like the High Country, you hit the button again and it's a power tailgate that closes. I haven't tried it on mine yet, see if it does it. But anyway, so I'm hitting the button to make the tailgate come down, and it's getting caught on the tonneau cover. So I go over and I pull the tailgate down. That's where I see the mess inside the box or the bed of the truck where Buddy had walked in there with his boots. So we went to the service department. And the reason why I keep buying vehicles from these guys, my third brand new vehicle in 10 years, is because of the after sales service. These guys, like my first car was a small, tiny little Sonic basic car. It didn't even have like a stereo system. It had a radio, crank windows. Like this is the one I took to the Matthew and Jewel to the charity shoot in back in 2011 or 2010 or 2010. Yeah, I bought the car and we headed to Ontario. And anyway, they treated me like I bought a Camaro. Like I couldn't believe the service I was getting from these guys. So that's why first time, and I told the sales or the service department manager, I said, look, first time I bought a car here is because I had to, but I bought my truck here because I wanted to. And it was because of the service I got from these guys. So we went to see him, and I told him, I said, like, I was being sarcastic, and I said, I'm only being a little bit sarcastic. You really need to go see the mess that this guy made in the bed of my truck. And he goes, nope, don't have to. Absolutely believe you. I'll see what I can do. So we went back to the salesman's office. He came back 5 minutes later. He said, I got bad news. He said, there's nothing I can do about that. But that morning, when I dropped my truck off because I was trading it in, I asked him if he knew anybody in our region who did spray-on bed liners. He said, yes, I know a guy, and I'll get you his contact information. You can get that done. So he comes to see me. He says, yeah, so you were asking me about getting a spray-on bed liner? I'm like, yeah. He said, well, guess what? Now we're paying for it. So I was like, giddy up. So, the truck was supposed to come with a spray-on bed liner. It didn't. I was going to eat that and pay for it myself. but now they scratched up the bed of my truck, and now they're paying for it. So
Cool.
It worked out great. So, yeah. And then, so I selling 12 guns, sold some guns, and immediately bought the CZ P10F. And of course, I bought this from the Calgary Shooting Center because I'm not a communist. The CZ P10F is CZ's first legit polymer striker fired pistol. They've got a couple of polymer pistols now, the P07 and the P09. Well, the P10 is striker fired. The compact came to Canada first, and the compact actually had a threaded barrel, and the suppressor sights wasn't interested. I might get one now for the bug out bag, but this one would just be for like taking classes and plinking and stuff like that. It's got, you can say it about the HK, you can say it about the Walther. The CZ has one of the nicest, if not the nicest, striker fired pistol trigger there is. And like all CZ pistols, it's really ergonomic. And we all know I've got a weak spot for polymer pistols. I've had like all of them except for the Beretta and the Remington. Maybe not all of them, but I mean certainly all of the most popular ones that have come out in recent years. So that should be here early next week. And then Black Sheep Brass. So Black Sheep Brass is a company that sells processed brass. They sell it to individuals, plus they sell it to people who remanufacture ammo. And so him and I spoke a couple of weeks back, and he asked me if I would be interested in sampling some of his goods. So he sent me out a huge box full of brass, 9mm and 223, and an awesome hat. So I've Instagrammed that both on my Instagram and the show's Instagram. So if you're not following me on Instagram,
oh my God,
you're kind of a communist, but I'm not going to go all the way there, but you're a little communist, like you're small R red communist. So you should definitely go follow me on Instagram because that's where I do all my gun stuff. And the Black Sheep Brass is there, and you can check that out. And what's cool about this, and I was going to actually bring some up in the case gauges and show you guys the consistency, is it's ready to load. You don't have to size it. You don't have to trim it. It's already sized. It's already trimmed. The only thing you could do differently, or the only thing you could do to make this brass better, is if you have a wet tumbler, you could wet tumble it and make it like, ooh, super shiny. It comes deprimed. You should probably run a universal decapping pin die or a universal decapping die in your first station if you're loading on a progressive press, to make sure there's no corncob media in the flash hole, because it is polished with corncob media. But other than that, she's good to go. So you don't have to pick up dirty brass. You don't have to clean dirty brass. You know how Adriel stopped loading 223?
What was the cost of it?
Yes. So you know how Adriel stopped loading 223 and he stopped loading 9mm because it just wasn't worth his time because it's so cheap. Well, now I'm at the point where I don't want to pick up brass anymore. I have brass downstairs that I haven't sorted or cleaned that's been sitting there for 2 years.
When you think of what the brass is worth, and you think of your time to stoop over and pick it up, and you put that into money, and then do the same thing, because they what are they, like nickels? Maybe nickels. They're dirty nickels that you got to take home, and you gotta like clean them and throw a bunch of lead dust around by cleaning them and all that.
Let's let the guy from Black Sheep Brass get his lead levels up instead of me for once, right? Like picking brass is for hobos. So we know that's.
We've offended another group. Good job.
They can't be listening though.
They're not listening.
So
speaking of lead levels, have you checked yours lately?
No, I don't plan to. I got a whole bunch of other.
That's the best policy right there.
Yep.
I know it's high. I don't want to be reminded.
That's right. Yeah. I went for a whole pile of blood work yesterday, and lead was not on the list.
You don't want to pay to feel
I just
guilty.
threw you totally off.
You did, but I remember now. So Kelly, if you shoot PCC in IPSC, you're like on the short bus. All right, you're now the joke squad, and I came up with a new one the other day, and hopefully the match director is going to start making some memes about it. He was explaining something, and I basically looked at him and said, "It's so simple, even a PCC shooter can do it." Just like that commercial with the caveman and the Geico insurance. So simple a caveman can do it. Well, now it's so simple a PCC shooter can do it. So anyway, I'm looking forward to loading that up. And finally, my 308 M1 Garand barrel came in. So when we built my M1 Garand, the barrel on it wasn't working, And Denis and I messed with it, and then just I told him give up on it. I'll get another one. It's turning into too much work, and wasn't working anyway. We didn't have any field gauges. It failed on the no-go. Maybe it would have worked with a field gauge, but anyway, whatever. We played with it for a while.
Just spin another one on.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly, Adriel. There's 2 places in Canada that had them, Aztec Armory. They won now probably the better barrel. It was a Criterion, and it was like $280 US. But Tradex got in some Citadel 308 M1 Garand barrels for $280 Canadian, and the fit and finish isn't as nice as the Criterion. I'll tell you that right now, because I got a Criterion on my. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. So if you're yelling at your stereo or speakers or whatever, I'm sorry. Anyway, my 30-06 M1 Garand has that barrel on it. And the gunsmith who built my 30-06 Garand, he sent me a text, and he's like, Tradex got 308 M1 Garand barrels in stock. Go. And I got one that day for $280 Canadian. And they shipped it the same day that I paid for it, and it arrived today. And Robert is your father's brother, and we'll try and get that installed quickly. So, Adriel, what do you? Sorry, no, yes, no, nothing.
Yeah.
All right, what are you up to?
Let me see if I can make this thing present to me. Yeah, there we go. Had a great range day on Saturday. I went to the range with listener of the show, and he's on Discord, and his handle over there is like Segfault. Anyways, we went, and I did a bunch of 22 shooting. I brought my NS 522 out there. I think I ran through maybe like another 700 rounds. So I have 500 more to go on that gun, and then I have still probably like another 2,000 left on my precision rimfire, and I'm all done the Marlin. That was good. I did some long range on my AR-15. So my AR-15 right now, I have it set up for limited. I've got an Aimpoint Pro, which is their patrol rifle optic red dot on there, and I haven't shot it at long range yet. So I took it to the long range, and I made some hits at 200 and 300. I tried at 5 and 500. The difference between a red dot and an optic is very apparent. Like at 2 and 3. No problem, all day long. Yeah, we'll do 200 and 300 on steel, no problem. But 500 is pretty tough. That's a distance where like that little bit of extra accuracy you get out of an optic, out of a magnified optic, is really good.
Yep.
Yeah, but otherwise, it was fun shooting long range with the AR. And then I cracked out my 22, and I made some long shots with that one, and that was fun too, because we started on the 200. And dialed in and pulled the trigger, and it's like, oh, it hit. Let's try 300, and crank on it some more. Fire. It's like, oh, it's a foot low. Okay, pull it again. Yeah, and it's so hilarious because you can just wear like earmuffs and crank them right up, and you can definitely hear the ting of that thing, and it's like seconds after you fire, and it's like ding. Yeah, so good. I really love doing that. Lots of fun doing that. So now I think I need to do that a couple more times before this. This match is coming up soon because that's in May. Yeah, I gotta stop screwing around with my setup, and I gotta start putting some rounds down range with that thing. Because I have to confirm my drop at distances so that I can put in the true BC that I'm getting out of that thing, and not just use like a calculated thing of Strelok, because that didn't actually work for me. So I'm gonna need to mess around with the BC on that thing. Anyways, 22 long range, lots of fun. Did some pistol with the GSG 1911 22. So this is the first time I've shot it since I put those Dawson precision sights on it.
Yeah,
and
that's
good. Yeah, yep. Just shooting at 50 yards on like a steel target about yay big, and you got to aim high on it because your rounds are already dropping out of a pistol by 50 yards. But just ruthless, just pounding them with whatever crappy high velocity ammo you've got. Did a box of clays with the Browning A5, not a single hiccup, which is nice.
Nice.
I usually run ounce and an eighth for 3-gun anyways, because we're knocking steel down, we're moving spinners, so more lead on target, it's always going to be better. But I was shooting 1 ounce loads, and it was running just fine with those two.
Yeah, my Versamax will. My Typhoon will not, even with the piston turned around on the light loads.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe now that I've had, probably maybe, let's face it, it's a 12 gauge. If I've got 250 rounds through it, that's it. Maybe after another 250,
maybe, run some heavy stuff through it. I saw TACOM was selling, so they've got RIA shotgun in the States that I believe is one of those Turkish semis. And I saw that TACOM is making a recoil buffer guide thing for the recoil spring on it. So you might want to take a look at those. TACOM just released that. It's this tiny little buffer thing that you put in the back. And apparently it helps with the recoil spring binding up in some of these. So I'm not sure if that's an issue or if it's an issue that's coming up on your shotgun, but something to think about as well. And with the A5, I was cranking those clays. That was doing really, really well. So that was nice. I got the BCL 102 out and I was shooting it. I was shooting it for groups because I haven't done too much group shooting with it. I fired at 50 and 100, and my stuff, it's right around 2 MOA right now, and that's on a rest with a big bad scope on it and a variety of factory ammo. So I'm not getting fantastic accuracy out of it. Maybe I would if I tried a different barrel or something like that, but I don't know if I'm going to bother. I did have a fail to feed on it. And this happened twice. So I got a CPD 10-round mag, and when after firing a couple rounds, the nose of the round went too low, and it didn't hit the feed ramp, so it hit the barrel extension and not the feed ramp on there, which is something that I've seen on some of the forums that is possible to happen with these. So I don't know, didn't really like that mag. I got a whole bunch more 22 in, so Spectre Ballistics, I was telling him about this stuff, and he's like, oh, if you want to, you can order like a whole bunch of different like weird ammo through us. And I'm like, yep, send me a list. So I went through the list and I picked all the stuff I didn't have, and now I've got like, I don't know, that much more work to do. I'm making all this work for myself. I got the 60 grain Aguila Super Sniper rounds, and they're hilarious. It's a 22 short with a big, long 60 grain bullet on there. You think of like a 40 grain bullet and how long that is. Add 50% more weight to that thing, aka 50% more length. It's huge. It's a huge bullet. And then on the opposite end of the spectrum, I got some copper bullets. These little like sintered copper 21 grain bullets.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think either of them are going to be great on accuracy. I think they're both going to suck, but maybe I'll be surprised.
How much did you get of each?
50 rounds each.
Yeah, that's fine.
5 groups of 5 for one rifle, 5 groups of 5 for another rifle, and that should be enough to kind of tell me what's happening. Unless they really drop, and I miss the target. And then it'll be 4 groups. Let's see. I had to go down a belt notch. I just noticed this today. I was like putting on my belt, and I'm like, what the heck? It doesn't fit. So
shut up.
Yeah.
And why did you go down?
I think it's just because I quit drinking. I stopped drinking entirely this year.
Good for you.
That's because I still eat like crap, and I'm doing like almost nothing for exercise. So that's the only thing it could be.
Were you drinking that much beer?
I don't think so, but it's like beer is like carbohydrates, man.
Big time. I know.
Yeah.
I lost 36 pounds in 2011, and beer is the one thing I made sure I didn't give up.
You got to make your own sacrifices, right?
Yeah.
You got to sacrifice the things you're willing to.
So you lost 10 pounds, but did you gain a gun?
Well, yeah. I mean, I've bought and sold like a ton of guns since January. Yeah, so that's a weird question for me. Did I gain a gun? Yeah.
No,
sure.
drinking.
Speaking of gaining guns, though, the CZ P10, dirt cheap. It's under $600.
Yeah, they're like $550.
Yeah, it's
Very
like less than
inexpensive.
Glocks ever were, and it's
not a
Glock
Glock,
killer.
it's easy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just
And then BCL Signs Life over there. They emailed me and then they called me and they said, "Hey, yeah, we've got some problems with extraction, injection, that kind of thing, and they're going to send me another extractor. So now I'll have 3: an extractor spring and donut, and a new ejector spring, and gas rings."
But
and out of all of those, I think I need the ejector and I think I need the gas rings, because the gas rings on those things are like, the fit is not good. And I think, some new gas rings would help.
However, if they are just replacing your ejector with the same style ejector, what's the point?
They're not.
It's not okay. It's a new design.
I'm not gonna, if it comes in and it's the same one, I'm not even gonna install it. I'll just throw it in the trash. And
well, you're not going to install whatever they send you anyway, because the gun works right now.
No, I will. If they send me a different ejector, I will install whatever they send.
Really, just to test it?
Absolutely. That's kind of my thing. Is testing that kind of thing, right? So if it's a more valid test if they fixed it, and I can update that article saying like, oh, they figured it out. Now they've got a better ejector and it's working, right?
Yep.
That's it for me. How about you, Kelly?
I didn't go anywhere. Well, I didn't go to the range. I did go to Montreal, and I went for my birthday. So I met up with
Strippers, Montreal, Kelly. You wanted to get some Chippendales action or what?
No.
That's why people go to Montreal for their birthday, to go to the strippers.
That's why you go to Montreal for your birthday.
Proud to say I've never done that. I'm a good boy. That's why you would go.
Yeah, no.
Why else would you go all the way to Montreal if it wasn't for the dancers?
I went to go and see my friends from Maple Seed. I met up with them. We had Montreal smoked meat, and we had this stuff called spruce beer. It's not really beer.
Or made from spruce.
Okay, take Buckley's. And carbonate it and add sugar. That's
that sounds terrible.
The first time I tasted Buckley's, I was Googling the number for poison control. I know that, and now I'm like, now I'm doing shots of Buckley's every time my nose runs. Like, oh, give me some Buckley's. But the first time I thought I was going to die. I thought, well, I've had a good run.
You're fine. But no, we went for my birthday, and we got a chance to see all of my peeps from Maple Seed, so it was good to see them. And we had Montreal smoked meat at this place called Pete's Meats. It's delicious. You gotta go there.
You ate Pete's Meat?
I did. Nothing, and their slogan is "Nothing beats Pete's Meats." Delicious Montreal smoked meat. It's awesome. And going back to coming home. What?
Peter is another word for penis.
Yes.
Very observant, Trevor.
You guys are awesome. What else did I do? I went and just Maple Seed stuff. So what we're doing is we're ramping up right now. We've sent out links to the ranges that we've arranged events with, and every range that we've arranged. Every range that we've arranged an event with prior to July 1st, they have the event link. So they should be sending it out in emails to their members. What happens is after that, once they send it to their members, we then release it to the public. So everybody
all sell out in minutes, and better be a member of the range. So
everybody who's emailing me right now, hope you're a member of the range. But also, a lot of them do get released to the public. There's a few places that don't sell out. So
we didn't announce it on our social media. We just emailed it to the members, and if we get close to the start date and it's not sold out, then we'll probably announce it to the social media.
Yeah. Well, I'll help you out with that. So we'll announce it to our social media.
Yeah, and if other Trevor thinks that he's going to skip out of helping me set up for the Steel Challenge, I saw that. I already chewed him out by text message.
Yeah. So that's happening, and so East Coast all covered. The links are all sent to all the ranges. BC all covered. Chaz all covered. West Coast, Alberta and BC in July going forward. You're going to get yours next week. That's what I did in guns. I'm done.
Welcome to the show, Tracey Wilson from the CCFR. Tracey, we've been seeing a whole bunch of social media coming out from you guys recently here. Some fighting with doctors or something like that.
Recently, hold on. When's the last time it stopped or there was a pause?
Oh, it has not stopped.
It has not stopped.
There's been some recent leveling up of the offensive.
Yeah.
I saw a couple of YouTube videos coming out. One of them, which was this this one about that a child is injured by a firearm every day in Ontario. Is that true? And eviscerating video.
Well, so here's the thing. If you're going to go to war with us, you better pack a lunch because it's going to be quite the battle, right? So yeah.
Like a feeding tube.
Pretty much, yeah. You're going to have to call paratransport because that's how you're going to go.
All right.
So, so we've had a little bit of a battle lately with these anti-gun lobby doctors. So this was sort of born out of the Danforth shooting. So everyone can remember the very tragic, awful, alleged terrorist activity that happened in Toronto, where you had a criminal, an unlicensed criminal, an extremist, with an illegal gun that he sourced through a gang affiliated brother. And he went on a shooting spree on a beautiful summer evening on the Danforth. And of course, the entire country, probably the world, mourned with these people. Now, that night, of course, a lot of people were taken into trauma units and hospitals to be worked on. There was a lot of injury and a lot of misery, right? So one of those doctors was Dr. Najma Ahmed, who is a trauma surgeon. She's a specialist in her field. She is absolutely one of the best as far as dealing with this kind of traumatic injury. And that makes her a complete hero, if that's where she left it, right? Well, I think through the attention she received, after the event, she, of course, was all in the media, and they were doing pressers out in front of the hospital, and all the media was there. And, she was describing the scene inside the hospital, which was complete chaos. This whole traumatic event has caused her to take on the cause of being an anti-gun lobbyist or activist. So it's very difficult because they think that we're trying to silence them. And here's the honest truth, and we've said this since the beginning. There's room for them in this discussion. And in fact, there's probably a very vital role that they can play because they deal with the aftermath of the criminal use of firearms and violence. However, that doesn't make them a subject matter expert on firearms regulation, policing policy, border security protocols. And so out of this tragedy committed by this violent extremist criminal, where basically everything he did was illegal, right down to the gun he used, somehow that's translated to we should ban sport shooters equipment. Now, these are really highly educated people who are deeply rooted in science. So for them to come out with such a far-fetched, like this literally makes zero sense to anybody. It's hard, and it's caused us to have to do some of our own activism. And the last thing we wanted to do is get in a fight with trauma surgeons. But for some reason, we are the target of their attacks. So,
well, yeah, I mean, I think we're talking about it on the show before, and if they didn't have a platform, if this is the thing is, this is just a couple of doctors. This isn't like 1,000 doctors who are all calling for this. This is like a handful of doctors who feel strongly about this. And the problem is that they've very quickly got a platform. Now they're being invited to Senate hearings. Now I heard, I think it was Drummond on the radio the other day. Yeah, he's got a platform on the CBC, and now they're asking him for his opinion on that show at the drop of a hat. And it didn't require any real research. It didn't require any understanding, deep understanding of the issue. They kind of took the surface level reaction of, we had to treat all these people who had gunshot wounds. Let's just ban guns. And all of a sudden that's got them a better platform than the pro-gunners who have better research, better understanding of these issues, better recommendations for how to do this stuff. And it's just been a real shame at how they've been quickly given this platform.
Well, and there's multiple reasons for that. Well, first of all, there's about 600 million reasons for that. And that's, we've got a media who is at the mercy of the Liberal government, who has a very anti-gun agenda. That's not nothing new to anybody listening to this show. And this also has a lot to do with some of the anti-gun activists that we're accustomed to dealing with, like Wendy Sukier and Natalie Provost and Heidi Rathjen. They've been doing this for 30 years, and that's probably the problem. after 30 years of listening to the same arguments over and over and over again over a crime that happened 30 years ago. I think they were sort of losing credibility. And then, along comes the CCFR. We're only, Trev, like 4 years old. We come along. They've never been up against people like us before, right? I mean, we've got some great advocates in our community who historically have done some great things, but we were pretty much at a standstill. The CCFR comes along and we're just kicking the heck out of everything. And, I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to figure out that the anti-gun activists' answer to the sophistication and modernization of our advocacy is the doctors. And that, hey, it's a pretty smart move. And they've also hired a professional PR firm who's a registered lobbyist. So here they come out of nowhere and they've got this entire framework just instantly set up for them. That's not a mistake. So yeah,
very purposeful, and and that's why I think it is valuable countering and providing like these videos that you guys are providing where you're going through the there was one that was on that article on Journal of Medicine. I think it was in the Journal of Medicine that was talking about the child, an Ontario child is injured every day, and it turned out that the child is anyone under the age of 24. It's like, whoa, those aren't like 5-year-olds here anymore. And it included paintball guns and pellet guns and those kinds of injuries as
gangbangers.
Well.
If you're a gangbanger and you're shot, you're considered a child injured with a handgun.
Yeah, anybody up to 24.
Most of them are under 24 and they're idiots. Or most
of the gangsters are even 16, 17. There'll still be a ton of them in there where, by law they're a child because they're under 18, but they're not living at home. They're out dealing drugs. It's like, they're a child, but they're also a gangster.
Yeah. Well, and even if you've got, I've got a 6-year-old grandson downstairs right now. If he got his finger pinched in his Nerf gun and needed a stitch put in there, that would be a firearm-related injury.
Yep.
So, when you take all that away, it's actually very, very rare. I think it was like 86%.
It's 83,
83% of the injuries weren't even actual firearms. Like, come on, So.
Yeah, but then that becomes, they put out some real shoddy stuff, and that becomes ingrained in the media for years afterwards.
Yep. The media will never fact check. This is what makes this so dangerous. Is people give doctors too much credibility, too much credit rather. There's this huge buy-in that just because a doctor is saying it, well, it must be true, must be fact, because they're doctors. They're held to a higher standard. They take an oath, right? So surely what they're saying must be based in fact and logic. This is so disappointing. I'm finding out that, there are so very few groups that are reputable that aren't willing to lie to get what they want. It's just, it's discouraging and disheartening.
It's the end justifies the means kind of a thing, right? Like you believe in something so firmly that you're willing to overlook how bad or how badly you're having to twist things, twist reality to make it so that you can get your way, so you can get the end. That's the real crux of the problem here.
Yep.
The day of inaction, Tracey, have you spoke about that yet?
So yesterday was their big day of action. They've been planning this since January. It's been on their website, and they promoted it all over. And to be honest, I woke up yesterday feeling sick to my stomach because Rod and I had talked about strategy, and we had talked about, maybe doing counter protests, and there is no win there. There was no public perception win to a bunch of angry gun owners showing up at these doctors' events. Mm-hmm. So, we decided we'd fight it with the videos and the things that we do, and we'd go out on social media.
Getting interviewed on the sidewalk and talking about having a gun to protect myself from a tyrannical government wouldn't have been productive?
We're never going to talk about that.
Can we end that?
No, and it's funny because I ended up, I was on my way to go down to the Senate yesterday. It was the last full day of testimony, and I wanted to go down there. And about 10 minutes before I was ready to leave, here's Rod calling me and these emails coming in. He's literally at the airport trying to get on a plane because he's going away. Wonderful time, and all these. Did we lose me?
Oh, yeah, almost. You're coming back.
Oh.
So you were talking to Rod on the
airplane.
Well, anyways, so I had all this going on, in the peripheral. And I said, okay, you know what? I'm just going to stay and do media. And it was interesting because I did interviews for about 5.5 or 6 hours straight, 3 times with CBC, CTV National, Global National. And then I'm watching the news last night and I found one clip with me in it. And it was one sentence. And I thought, wow,
the reason why CBC and CTV didn't post anything is because it wasn't their narrative. It wasn't what they were looking for.
Yeah. Well, and that's the problem is that at this point I'm interviewing too well. So what they want to do is they want to show these amazing life-saving doctors and they're asking for this gun control. And there's this evil gun lobby who's targeting them with these focused attacks. And, and then I get on there and I make perfect, complete sense. There's literally no way to argue with me. And that doesn't fit. That just doesn't fly.
Sports footage is no good.
Yeah.
Well, she's not the evil gun lobby.
We need a gun nut. Keep looking.
Yeah, we'll find somebody who's more radical than this really sensible, rational grandma, right? So yeah, I get it, man. Like I get the game.
If the CCFR does,
overall, the one in Toronto. So they did these.
You again, Tracey.
She's in Ottawa. She has better. Oh, she's gone.
Multiple.
Tell all your kids to get off the Wi-Fi.
Stop microwaving burritos.
Yeah, you're messing up the connection.
Off the Wi-Fi for a minute.
You know what it is? The CBC is hacking your signal.
Oh, I wouldn't even be surprised. Honest to God, I would not be surprised.
So how many doctors showed up for this day of inaction?
Well, the one in Ottawa, which I thought would be a big one, because what they're asking for is legislation. And where's legislation made? It's right here in Ottawa.
Yeah.
So I thought it would be a really big one. There was a grand total of 2.
Oh,
2 and some guy in street clothes. Yeah, because of course they wore their white lab coats, and it was really cute. Some of them had clipboards. They were in costume, in full costume, right?
Costume,
so,
literally in costume
and everything. Yeah.
What is it? Cosplay for doctors? They showed up in costume.
I don't know. Yeah, Calgary had 6.
Like, I could see they had this meeting, right? Like, how are they going to know we're doctors? We can't dress like everyone else. Lab coats
or
and
a stethoscope.
Or the stethoscope and that. Remember that old mirror thing on the forehead to reflect the light? They should have showed up in that. Man.
Oh, that's too good. That's too good.
Okay, so can you give us a sense of how things are going? You said yesterday was the last day of committee hearings, testimony, whatever words. So you've sat through a lot of this. We've seen a lot of nice pictures of you sitting behind people with eye rolls and stuff.
I will admit now, I am never going to play poker at the casino because my poker face is like this. Right? Like I would give it away. There's no way I'm a poker player. So that was the final day of testimony. And it was interesting. Bill Blair was, the star witness. And it was funny because Senator Crazy there, McFedrin, she, the one who thinks I'm vicious, she repeatedly has been asking for C-71 to be opened up and to a handgun ban added to it. So Bill Blair said, no, we won't be able to do that. We'll do that in our next term.
Yeah.
So, which drove her nuts because she's worried, just like all the rest of they're
not going to be in next term.
Psychos that they're not going to win, right? So it was pretty funny for Blair to sort of assume that, it's an automatic assumption. Oh, we'll just do it our next term. And I'm thinking, I don't know, man, the climate here in Ottawa, like there's a massive dumpster fire happening on Parliament Hill. And I'm not talking about garbage. I'm talking about the government. It's an interesting time. So, and I don't mind letting that smolder because ultimately the last thing we want right now is another Liberal term. Unfortunately, we're backed into a corner. But the bill, interestingly enough, so that was the last day of testimony, the 8th of April, which I believe is Monday.
Yep.
So that'll be the beginning of clause by clause. So this is sort of another great opportunity for opposition senators to sort of do time wasting. So this is where they take the bill, they go back through it, they read clause by clause, they speak to each individual part. Like, you could drag this on for a very lengthy amount of time, which is exactly what Senator plans to do. Now, the only problem is there's a government liaison between the House of Commons and the Senate, and he actually tabled a motion. There's 11 bills sitting at the Senate right now, and some of them are getting aged. But here's the thing: since when do we just rush laws through? Because it's been a long time. Let's just rush it through. The whole point of the Senate is sober second thought, and it's to sit down and study the legislation and make sure that it's going to have its intended impact, right?
Well, the problem with that is there is fear that the Liberal government will not win the next election, so they're pushing things through, or they're wanting to push things through, so they have these as legislated.
Yeah, and you never know, the writ could drop early too, right? I wouldn't be sad one bit if we had an early election. So I know that's the intended purpose. Now, just because he's got that motion out there doesn't mean that it's going to fly, right? In fact, the chances are it's not. But it shows that the government is sort of, hit the panic button. Yeah, they've hit the panic button and they're ready to just start jamming things through. We're running out of time. It's a full-on panic. So now's a perfect time for everybody to be writing to that committee, writing to the Senate, and just saying, we've got some concerns, suggest amendments. If we can get some amendments, it goes back to the House. Like, it's already been, a full year that we've been stalling this bill, and nobody ever imagined it would take this long to get through. And here,
yeah, I mean, especially considering like the scope of the bill, right? It's not it's not as radical as they could have made it, and I think that it's for such a small scope bill, it's not hasn't been going very quickly. I'm just trying to fill time while Tracey's still bugging out. Is that too obvious?
Yes, it is.
My question, Adriel or Kelly, while we're waiting for Tracey to get back, is can the clock run on this thing? They're going to go on summer break here soon, and no business will be taking place when Parliament is whatever that break is called. So, Tracey, are you back?
Yeah.
So my question is, you broke up there hard. You mentioned this on the CCFR radio. Isn't Parliament headed for their summer break here shortly?
Yeah. So basically in June, the House rises for summer break, and they don't come back until usually it's on my birthday on September 17th or thereabouts around, which is always a great present.
They'll be full on election mode then.
Oh, yeah. It's too late then. If this bill does not pass before the House rises in June, it won't pass at all.
So when do they have to get this done? What's the next step?
So clause by clause starts April 8th. This motion put out by this government representative is asking for it to be finished by April 11th. That is not going to happen. And then he wants the final vote to happen the first week of May. So none of that will happen, but they'll only be able to stall that for so long. I don't know. It's literally down to the wire right now. We're just in a matter of weeks. The best thing we can do right now is I don't want people to misinterpret an amendment meaning we support the bill if they add this. Either way, we don't support the bill.
So if we request an amendment and the senators say we need an amendment to send it back, then what they'll do is they'll send it back to the House.
Then we're
and it's not going to come in to
There's no way.
So how do we get an amendment in there?
Well, we're trying really hard, and what we're going for is things that are easy. Like, here's the easiest one. So the new ATT system will only allow you just to go to the range and back. So you'd have to go and get a short-term ATT to go to the gunsmith.
Yep.
Well, what does the gunsmith do? He fixes guns. Why would we put a barrier between a gun owner with a firearm and the need for safety? So that's been every single panel has been talked to about this. So I can almost guarantee that will be one of the suggested amendments. Now, suggested amendments will be pages and pages and pages of them. But there's, a lot of them will sort of be frivolous or vexatious and, be ignored.
Good word.
But there's some that I think they're really going to have to consider. Right. And, even so, under C71, we've got these store records that are going to be, kept for 20 years by ma and pa shops across the country. There's been no framework or explanation, or nobody said how they have to keep these records or what's involved. They just said, well, we'll make records. So there's a whole framework that needs to be built around that legislation, even once it's passed. So there's a lot we can do to just slow down that choo-choo train.
All right, so that's our next
the plan.
step. Cool. All right,
Yeah.
So what's next? We're fighting with doctors. We're fighting C71.
Yeah, and Minister Blair has promised to have his recommendations out soon on his examination on a full ban on handguns and
He's
assault
been saying
rifles.
that for a while, though. Like his original due date is like a month or two ago on this.
Oh yeah, but he's going to have to say something. I think. I don't know. It's hard to say what he's going to come back with on that. I think the reason that he's been sort of hesitant to release that is they're in so much trouble now. I mean, you pissed off veterans, you pissed off the Indigenous people, you pissed off people with SNC-Lavalin.
Women.
You pissed off women. You pissed everybody off. Do you really want to piss off millions of gun owners
They haven't
who are
pissed
already
off.
pissed off?
They haven't pissed off beta male cucks.
True.
So just to be clear.
And Lord knows we've got enough of those.
We sure do.
Yeah.
Man bun wearing, 6.5 Creedmoor shooting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just picked those guys up. That's how that goes. Yeah.
We can't. I mean, I wish that they weren't so crooked that they would let the policies that are in place play out. I mean, we saw basically the emergency live stream that Michelle did with one of her colleagues, Michelle Rompel, where they were voting. Remember when they did that overnight voting session? They brought all the cots in on the budget, and not all the Liberals were there. And we caught them red-handed, not being there.
Vote.
Yeah.
So they were pushing things through, and
the speaker just swept it under the rug.
Well, I'll remind you too, although the Speaker of the House is voted on by the entire House, Kevin's he's a Liberal. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, and he's a great guy, but he was put in an awful position by his party. I mean, what a position to put that guy in. But of course, he's not going to send his own party down the river.
But it's either you're there or you're not.
If they're willing to cover up for companies with millions of dollars in illegal, behavior and hookers and all this crazy stuff, you think they're going to stay honest on something like a vote that could cost them their leadership?
Tracy, it's not hookers. It's job security.
Canadian jobs.
My prime minister said that.
Working girls.
Yeah, it's good for the economy, Tracy. Don't be a hater.
Hey, if we're going to talk about jobs, we should be talking about the firearms industry.
Yeah.
You've got 4,500 licensed firearms businesses across the country employing over 25,000 people. Do we want to talk about those jobs, or do only Quebec jobs count?
Well, according to our native Quebec prime minister, yeah.
Well, it's because those 25,000 people ain't voting for the prime minister, are they?
That's right. Yeah. Exactly.
He doesn't care about those jobs, right?
But the man who's on record telling everyone that yes, Quebecers are inherently better than the rest of Canada. Yeah, for sure they're going to vote for him.
Ask anybody in Alberta how they feel. There's 110,000 jobs lost over there.
Yeah.
They're in crisis. And there's not a word in the House spoken about that by anyone on the Liberal Party. In fact, they're working really hard to further damage the energy sector, And to me, I think that's crazy. We're worried about 8,000 Quebec jobs. These are very highly trained people. Do you not think they can find a job somewhere else? I've lost a job.
Hundreds of thousands.
I can find another one.
Well, hundreds of thousands of Atlantic Canadians depend on Alberta's welfare payments. Stop messing with my sugar daddy.
Always making friends, Trav. Always making friends.
Every turn.
Yeah.
It's one of my strengths. Thanks for noticing.
Yeah, you're welcome. I want to tell you something fun while we're on here. So it's I hear you're not going to be able to make it to the CCFR AGM this year.
That's correct.
Because I've got a little plan for the Friday before the AGM. I got a couple friends of mine that want to go out on a gopher killing spree. We want to go gopher hunting. So Rod and Tracey, Michelle and Jeff, Colin and I, and your Jeff from Calgary Shooting Center has agreed to take us. So are you sure you can't come?
Well, I'm going to be sitting in his living room if he's not there.
Wait a sec. What are the dates again?
June 1st.
June 1st. Oh yeah, no, that's for sure. That's the
Steel Challenge.
That's the Steel Challenge.
Well,
Somebody else could run it for me.
Hey, I'm all about killing gophers. I think it'll be fun. I like the ones that flip, right? Those are the fun ones.
It's just my goal is to make one actually tear in two with a 17 HMR. I've come so close so many times. It's just a really tough time of year at school.
Yeah, I get it. It's difficult. I'm actually pulling out a summer out of school. This isn't a secret anymore, but the weekend before the AGM, actually, Michelle Rumpel's getting married. So I'm heading out to Calgary. The Friday before, the 24th of May, we're all flying out to Calgary. So I'm going to be out there all week doing super fun stuff, Trevor. All kinds of gun stuff. And
I'll be there a week early for the charity shoot, and I will slaughter whatever gophers you leave behind.
Okay, cool.
But
cool.
Leave a couple babies for us.
I hate missing the AGM.
Trevor and I are going to be out there.
So bad.
I know. I want to take Rod on it because Rod's not a hunter, right? So he's not I don't think he's ever shot animals before. So it should be interesting. I know.
You might create a monster.
Oh, I guarantee it I will. Yeah. Same with Michelle,
wearing orange hats and wearing camo around work, camo jackets.
I'm going to get him like an orange hat or something, and I'll get some pictures. It'll be funny. I'll get Michelle out in camo. But I think it'll be a great time. So
awesome. Anything else that you wanted to mention?
I'm heading tomorrow. Actually, I'm doing something really fun tomorrow. So it'll be a long drive, about 6 hours, but I'm going to jump in the truck with Colin, and we are going to head over to Select Shooting Supplies and go see our friend Dean Carr.
Yeah, say hi to him for us.
Yeah, we're going to go to the store.
Everybody knows. Are you free to talk about what happened there?
Yeah, so Dean
you talked about
incident.
TCFR, right? So
yeah, so Dean had a little accident. Not an accident. There was nothing accidental about it. Let me clarify. Dean was violently and viciously attacked by a knife-wielding psychopath at his store. And unfortunately, he got 3 very significant injuries. One kind of up on the forehead here for those who are viewing, one on the side of the head, both right down to the skull, and then a stab wound on the side of his neck. So he had some pretty significant injuries. I did see him post a picture the other day. He got his staples out. I saw a picture the day it happened with the staples in, and I got to tell you, it was, I don't know. I'm one of those creeps who likes looking at creepy stuff, but I can't even stop cringing now just thinking about it. Like, my God, that had to be painful.
Oh, but, he ain't pretty no more.
No, well, I don't know. Chicks dig scars, right?
So he's gonna get all the chicks because
he's gonna get all the chicks. He's got some pretty gnarly scars, but I got to tell you, between his wife Tracey and his buddy, either Jerry or Gary, I'm not entirely sure which one, they managed to subdue this guy until police could arrest him. And of course, like, it was just complete mayhem. And poor Dean, after going through all that, then this story came out. I did a Facebook Live on my Facebook wall. It's still on there. I think it's sitting right now at about 15,000 views. I kind of lost my mind one evening because we were eating dinner, and I'm scrolling through Facebook after dinner, and I see this post. It was like a news article out of Cambridge, Ontario, and it was a Cambridge City Councillor who was more upset at the end of this gory, bloody, savage attack. He's more upset at the fact that, oh my God, we have a gun store here?
Yep.
I Google mapped it. It's 600 meters from this guy's office. Okay. So first of all, what kind of counselor are you? It's not Cambridge. I got to think about it. But anyways.
Chatham-Kent is where he's from.
Okay. But what kind of counselor are you when you don't even know what businesses you have in your area, right? And then he says, well, when they fill out their business license, which is given to them by the municipality, the city gives it to them, they don't know what kind of business it is. Well, I'm going to break it down for you like this. The store is called Select Shooting Supplies. So your first hint should be there might be a selection of shooting supplies. And you would use those supplies for shooting. I mean,
okay.
And I mean, if you drove around the neighborhood, you'd probably see it right there. They probably have a sign.
So
yeah, I mean, if you're active in your community and were the type of city councilor that went down to your local small businesses and supported them, you might have a clue what kind of businesses are in your neighborhood. But you know, not everybody's a hero, obviously. So, anyways, we gave that councilor one. You know, this is the thing. This is the thing, as I'm all about mob attacks at this point, because I just could not believe after everything Dean went through. I was reading through the story, waiting for this guy to say, you know, we're hoping that our local business member, Dean Carr, is okay. We wish him all the best. Not a word. He's more concerned that there's a gun store in the neighborhood than the fact that there's a knife-wielding psychopath who almost killed this guy, you know? So, anyways, I was so over-emotional about that. I lost my mind, and I sicked the entire community on him. And I know I received hundreds of CC'd emails from angry people writing to him, and I never asked anybody to do that. So I know there was hundreds more I wasn't CC'd on.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
One of the things that I have to say about that is Dean and his employees and his wife did an amazing job, because what I surmised from the event and also what was said was the guy wanted to die. He wanted suicide by cop. So he picked that store because of the fact that it was a gun store, and they did a great job. There was somebody who attacked an employee. He thought was an employee. He thought he was going to get shot. So they used their skills, man. And then the cops came, and again, he said, just shoot me. So this is somebody who had a death wish. He wanted suicide by cop. He was too much of a coward to do it himself. Let's be honest. And Dean, I feel horrible for him to go through that. And the thing is, 2 days later, he's going, stores open.
Like, oh yeah,
of course, it's Dean.
Yeah, he's like, I got to go in and clean up a bit. Like, let's be clear. If I clean up,
you meant blood.
I clean up, it's his blood. Like, and he's like, oh yeah, business as usual.
Only in Canada do you get to carve up a gun store owner and not get filled with holes.
Yes.
Like, imagine people
in the US,
oh yeah, imagine people in other countries or aliens somewhere thinking about Canada. You know, guy goes into a store full of thousands of guns, knifes the shit out of the owner, you know, doesn't get
and they
shot.
barely beat him
like,
up.
It's almost absurd, right?
It is absurd. It's absolutely absurd.
Yeah. Yeah, wild. Anyways, we're going to go see Dean. We're going to go to the store, spend some money, support Dean's business, take him and Tracey out for a great dinner. And then the following day on Saturday, I'm actually going over to the East Elgin Sportsman Alliance Association.
Yeah.
ESA. Yeah, I'm going over there, and it's their annual general meeting of the members. I'm going to speak to the members about C-71 and the handgun ban. And then we're going to go outside and shoot some guns. We're going to send some lead downrange. So I'm really excited.
Awesome.
So, yeah, going on a tour this weekend. Yeah. Which is not different than any other weekend, but yeah.
At least you get to shoot this time. Yay.
I get to hold a gun for once. Yeah. So should be fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for helping Dean out and getting out to the East Elgin Sports Shooter Association and
Sportsmen's Association
and representing us and taking the fight to him, Tracey.
Absolutely, man. The best way to get out and get people engaged and to get them to stand up for their ability to continue to own and enjoy firearms is to bring it right to them and explain to them. A lot of people just don't know. So, yeah, we've been doing these town halls all across the country, and I thought, what a great opportunity to get in front of some really engaged gun owners. So,
awesome. Yeah. Well, thanks for being on the show again.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, guys.
Later.
Later, Trace.
Bye, Tracey.
Later.
All right. Why don't we go on to upcoming events? First up, Matthew and Trevor will be hosting a Furlachi Fundamentals and Beyond Fundamentals course on May 4th and 5th at the Thomaston Corner Shooting Range near Fredericton, New Brunswick. To register or for more information, please email slamfireradio@gmail.com. How many spots you got available? Still spots?
We still have several. There's only registration is slowly trickling in. So yep, I will sell out, but we're not there yet. We're probably about half on both days, I think. So
cool.
Still room and still time. Sign on up and come learn you some stuff.
Awesome.
And then take back with Trevor.
There are several black badge courses.
If you're doing one near Fredericton, you might be doing a black badge with someone I sold a holster to.
Cool.
The 2019 IPSC Alberta Provincial Championship will be June 29th at the Tabor Shooting Foundation. For more information, go on Facebook or on the IPSC Alberta website. Who put the CCFR RSO course in here?
I did. So one of the projects that I'm responsible for with the CCFR is to get our range safety officer program up and running. And so this has been about 2 years in the making. And the initial training course will take place in Dalhousie on May. What are the dates I put there, Adriel?
25th and 26th.
May 25th, 26th. So it's in Dalhousie because it's going to take place at my school. Actually, the same weekend as the black badge I'm supposed to teach, but Muffin has taken that off my hands. So this course will be to train some instructors who will then train instructors to teach the class. So there'll be myself and a couple of other CCFR directors getting trained on how to train instructors. And
we got some Alberta ones going out there?
No.
Oh, come on, man. You got to do one out here or something.
Well, send me an instructor. Send me someone who is a range safety officer who has experience facilitating courses to adults. Give me a name.
I can clone myself.
What if
Adriel,
What if you just come here and do it?
Well, once I become an instructor, then I can come out there and I can train up some instructors, or probably send one of our other guys who's a little bit closer. Right now, we're looking at somebody in Saskatchewan, somebody in Ontario, and myself. So Saskatchewan will probably cover Western Canada until we get somebody for like Alberta and BC. And then myself and the other guy, we can share Quebec, and he can do Ontario and I can do Atlantic Canada.
There's this training school in BC I've heard of, Silver Corps or something like that. Maybe you've heard of it. Yeah. Maybe they could do some sort of this
small outfit. So the reason for this is a lot of insurance providers, a lot of pro-gun orgs that sell insurance also offer training courses for range safety officers. And some clubs are insistent that if they buy your insurance, they want to have a safety officer program as well. I think it's probably just Ontario that's doing this. It sounds like a level of bureaucracy that they try and thrive for. And so anyway, it's something that we should be doing anyway, certifying and training range safety officers. There are some provinces where there are no training courses offered by anyone for range safety officers. I'm like, how could that be? How could you not? Like, who's run?
Well, like when you were mentioning it there, it's like, okay, well, there's IPSC NROI. What if you don't shoot IPSC? What if you shoot other stuff?
IPSC RO has absolutely nothing to do with this. So I'm glad you bring that up because it's been brought up in the past. Like, that's like saying it's almost the same as saying a referee from the NHL can run your firing line. An IPSC RO is specific only to the sport of IPSC and has no training whatsoever with regards to how to run a shooting line on a rifle range. And the RSO program is for running a shooting line on a rifle range, how to be a safety officer for a gun range and not any particular sport. And you get these guys who I've taken the class 3 times now, and there were these guys that are so like ethnocentric. They're like, well, that's not how we do it in Bullseye. That's not how we do it in Bullseye. Shut up. This isn't Bullseye. This is a generic course on how to run a rifle range. There's more to the world of shooting other than a Bullseye. Drive me bananas. So anyway, that's what this course is for. It's to train range safety officers to run gun ranges, not anything to do with.
I mean, Bullseye is basically the same thing. Like, Bullseye shooting is basically the same thing as shooting at a regular.
I'm going to slap you. Like, next time I see you, I don't know how it's going to work out in the end, but I'm going to start off by slapping you.
That'll be at the airport.
Love a Pete.
I'll be holding up a sign and I'll get.
I was showing your furry sign the other day to my students. Actually, it's a long story, but anyway. So that's what it is. So, this is why my stuff takes so long. For the love of Christ. Anyway, if you're a CCFR field officer and you would like to become a trained RSO, this one is free. I'm making an executive decision on that. Just get yourself to Dalhousie and we will train you to be an RSO. under the new CCFR RSO program. So be part of the inaugural class. If you're interested in doing that, email me at trevor.furlot@firearmrights.ca to register.
Cool. Other upcoming events? I'm going to do a 3-gun thing once a month or so. Let's see here. There's a match coming up April 13th. That's at Chaz. That's in a weekend or two here. 70 people, sold out. Lethbridge is doing a 3-gun same day. If you want more information on that, go to the Chinook Country Shooters Club. BTSA is doing their multi-gun match on the 14th. Mighty Peace is doing one on the 20th. Lakeland 3-Guns doing it on the 20th. I have one that's not in Alberta. I'm going to blow your guys' mind. OPMSL, the Ontario Practical Multi-Shooter something or other. Yeah, those guys. They're doing it at Guelph. They've got one.
Do you know who runs that?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. Just saying.
Yeah. It's Gavin and...
The number 2 podcast in...
Podcart. The number 2 podcart in Canada. No, but they're running a two-gun match in Ontario. There aren't a lot of 2-gun matches in Ontario, so fantastic. Great. This is like a tactical style one, so this is more, where you're
the boys kind of thing. The boys started their own kind of league as far as I know, so that's kind of cool. I mean,
there's 2 different kinds of 3-gun matches you can go to. You can go to a 3-gun match that is a racer 3-gun match that has you're wearing your stuff on a belt, you're going for speed. It's not IDPA-ish. It's closer to IPSC in terms of the game stages, that kind of thing, right? Yeah, very freestyle. Whereas these guys are doing a more tactical style one. I mean, if you went and watched a 3-gun match, you would say that is not a tactical style match.
No, it's not
whatsoever. Yeah. Whereas these guys are trying to do something that's more tactical and more.
Yeah, they're wearing load bearing gear and plate carriers and stuff like that. So they're taking the gear that you train with and applying it within the context of sport,
which is CQB style.
Yeah, which is how a lot of the sports actually started. Yep. Started off wearing duty gear, and people got competitive, wanted to go fast, and now we've got space guns.
Yep.
So they're kind of going back to the actual practical. You're going to do this, but you're going to do it wearing practical gear, not racing gear.
Yep. So that one's sold out, but stay tuned, and maybe you can head to one of their other ones. Medicine Hat has a 3-gun match on May 4th. Northwest 3-Gun will have one in Houston, BC on the 4th. And Lakeland 3-Gun will also have one on the 4th. So for 3-Gun, do we have any listener feedback on YouTube?
I'm just going through it right now. Brad is giving Trevor a little bit of a hard time about the fact that he's booked the course that weekend. Apparently, he has other things that he's booked as well. So, everybody's saying hello to Tracey and Jack the cat that was behind her. And let's see, there's a Senator Griffin who is an independent/liberal, following the idea of amendment for the ATT. She's the one that kept asking about the trips to the gunsmith and why can't we just keep the automatic ATTs. So that's actually a good thing. And also... that's about it. So cool. Luke Dan was talking about the fact that Thunderbolts, he spots quite a bit of them, and I was just telling him that they're quite accurate.
Remington Thunderbolt?
Yep.
What?
They'll run. They'll run through my gun.
That is trash.
Really?
Remington Thunderbolt is trash ammo.
So it is cheap, but it runs through my 1022 and is pretty freaking accurate. So it depends on the gun.
Trash ammo.
Still trash ammo.
Oh yeah, you'll get a couple of failure feeds.
Failure to fire, and maybe they forgot to put powder in one of them.
Yeah, that's true too. There's no quality control on it. So, and then there was people asking about packing a lunch because Trevor is still talking about what he did in guns. That's it.
Sweet. Speaking of triggering Trevor, now I'm going to go back to news, which is out of order in the show notes.
That's why I wasn't ready.
And just see if I can get that vein popping or something like that. News. So
that's why I like you. You know that.
First one is strategic and operational changes at Black Creek. Black Creek Lab.
Fancy talk for we hired somebody to clear up the backlog of warranty requests.
Correct.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And they have been replying, right? So now they're actually reaching out to people and.
You could have said it better, but that's my job.
Mm-hmm. And it's I think our listeners would appreciate the clarity that you added to the to that.
You know me, I get to the point. I never drag anything out.
So I mean, with that point,
Okay.
I mean that's all there is to this. Check out the CCFR videos for a child is injured by a firearm.
I'm going to post
in
that on
Ontario.
our social media.
Yes.
It's a
Thank
good
you,
one.
Kelly.
You're
And
welcome.
please share the crap out of them, guys.
Yeah.
Start a Twitter account just to go on and challenge these people on the things that they're saying. Be polite, be to the point, drop a link to an article, ask them to back up what they're saying. Don't call them names. Let the doctors call you effing idiots like they're doing right now. And they're literally doing that. The doctors are swearing at people, they're threatening people, and then they block you. Always take the higher road so that we look like the calm, level-headed, logical side of the argument that we are. But if you don't have a Twitter account, please get on Twitter and get involved in the debate with these people.
It's depressing, but it's depressing because we've given up on it. Like Twitter is a depressing
it's a cesspool.
It's crap hole of comments.
I'm
But
on it.
the only way it'll ever get better is if we add the other side of it, and it's not a pure echo chamber. Right now, it's a pure echo chamber.
Yep.
And it will continue being that until we all start engaging on it.
Yep.
I say that, but I don't engage on it.
I have been. I'll go in, I'll drop some truth bombs, and I'll leave. But that there's like Rod and Tracey. I don't know how they spend.
I don't follow you. Go ahead.
They're so busy on social media. Every time I go to Twitter, it's Rod Tracey, Rod Tracey, Rod Tracey. Rod is the king of engaging these people on Twitter and asking for an adult, logical, like an adult, mature conversation with these people, and they won't do it. They'll just call them a white supremacist and block them, right? So,
I mean, they've already done all the hard work with providing the backbone for it, right? You already have gundebate.ca. You already got those videos that you can refer to. So a lot of the time someone might say like, oh, a kid is shot every day in Ontario from firearms accidents. And you can be like, nope, drop a YouTube video in there. And,
Yep. Every time you see a doctor telling lies, you could also use the hashtag stay in your lane,
Yeah. We didn't really talk about the agenda at all, did we? About in the news?
No.
The Ontario. So they had the agenda.
What agenda? Be more specific. I don't know.
There's a show on TV Ontario which is called The Agenda, and they had Rod Giltack on. But they also had videos and the doctors on. So they had 4 videos of the doctors, and they had over an hour of their commentary, and they had one video with Rod Giltack and 30 seconds of his commentary.
Of course, because like you said a while ago, it doesn't fit the narrative.
Correct.
Well, and they're being paid by the government at this point to continue existing. Anywho, fun stuff.
I'm gonna just one more comment, Adriel, if you would indulge me. I'm gonna say it. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Like there is no question that the CCFR is it. You've never seen this kind of engagement from a pro-gun org, and you've never seen a pro-gun org get this much press. If there was ever any doubt in your mind before, there should no longer be. Who is the pro-gun lobby in this Canada? I
think a lot of people out there see it, and a lot of gun owners just want to do their thing and be left alone, and they see the CCFR getting press, and they're like, "Oh, that's bad. I don't think we should be in the news." But the problem is that's actually a necessary thing in order to get what we need. If we're not in the news, and people just assume that firearms owners are just fringe people who are just
not organized.
Then we won't get any respect, and we'll just get steamrolled with legislation. Whereas, like, we need this kind of thing to happen.
Yep.
We can't stay out of the limelight.
There is a fairly significant portion of gun owners in Canada that want to stay under that rock and think that if they keep their head in the sand, it'll all blow over and they'll be okay. But don't rock the boat. Yeah, rock the boat.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's part of I think part of the common attribute with gun owners is that wanting to be left alone, wanting to just do their thing and not have to be bothered or see people doing what they're doing, and I think that unfortunately you have to if you want your rights preserved.
Yep.
All right, new gun stuff. FN is going to give you 3 extra mags for if you buy certain specific models, like the 509.
So the 509's not selling? What?
I think that maybe this might be like a mea culpa to be like, sorry guys, our magazines were $75 before. We're sorry. We'll give you 3 now, 3 extra.
I don't know.
FN mags are so expensive. Oh,
they're not as expensive as HK. They're not as expensive as Walther.
But nothing's expensive as HK. Like an FN pistol is like $600.
Used to be. The 509 is like $850.
Is it? Oh man, that's
much. Yeah, it's way more than the FNS was, but it's not way more pistol.
No,
I held it and like I just buy myself another FNS. Muffin dropped an Apex trigger bar in his, and it's better. It's not $250 better, but it's better. It's still a little draggy,
and still $75 mags, unless you buy one new, and now you can get 3 free mags.
Well, that's because the 509 is not selling, and the 509 is not selling because it's $850.
This is for a couple of other models that they have as well. Can't remember which of the other ones were. Maybe FNX. I can't remember.
Probably the hammer fired one too.
Yeah. There's too much selection in pistols these days, so not all models can be winners.
Bite your communist tongue,
says the guy who wants to try every polymer striker fired pistol.
Yeah. I think I'm good with the CZ though.
Yeah. Prairie Gun Traders has a few WK-180Cs available, and now Cabela's is carrying them as well. So you can go into a Cabela's and pick up a WK-180C.
That's awesome.
I don't know what their pre-order was or how many they got, but they must have got a big order because Cabela's moves a lot of firearms.
Oh, exactly. Oh, I got that .80 rubber butt pad there coming for my WK.
Yeah,
because I went back to the fixed stock. So.
Yeah, I've got the rubber butt pad. I'm waiting on the stocks now for the next import that Aztec does.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
it should make
I'm gonna put those on a couple of rifles. I really like that Magpul MOE fixed stock. I love it. SFRC is having a 20% off used gun sale between April 5th at 5 and April 9th at 9 p.m. Kelly, you must have put that in there, and I must be going to this thing, correct?
Maybe it's online. Or I don't know.
It's online.
Is it online? No, I don't know. I got an email. Just hold on. Yeah, I got asked if I was going to go to SFR this weekend. Maybe I'll just have to go.
Well, they're used, so it'd be nice to actually see them and feel them and check out what's going on, right?
Feel them and yes,
check them out, see what the wear's like. Because sometimes, used guns in general last a long time, and they do not generally wear out.
Are excluded. It said. The discount is it's online and the discount code is used. Well, that's it.
Cool. All right. We don't have any listener feedback, but if we did, it would be sponsored by Armory DC Gunsmith. Armory DC Gunsmith is a full-service gunsmith who specializes in firearms refinishing. He offers hot bluing, parkerizing, and Cerakote finishes, as well as wood refinishing. Check out his online inventory of new and used guns, firearms, accessories, optics, and more at dcgunsmith.ca. And follow him on Instagram and Facebook. Also, Armory DC Gunsmith.
I'll be there on Saturday, going in for a day's work.
And if you want to see internet celebrity Trevor Furlot, go to Armory DC's Gunsmith on.
You won't see me. I'll be working diligently in the back on a couple of the Enfields, prepping them for the parkerization tank.
You can ask to see him. It's like the chef at a kitchen. You can ask to see him, and he has to come out and sign. Yeah. Bring a Sharpie. He'll sign your chest, and yeah.
I got nothing. You've gone over the deep end.
All right. If you'd like to email the show, send an email to slamfireradio@gmail.com. Podcast reviews. We have one. Kelly, do you want to read it?
This is from Austin. He's a Ram Charger fan. I don't know what that means.
Well, who wrote that?
So it's a 5-star rating. He says no, it's not. I'm reading it. I'm going, no, it's not.
I'm so glad you asked her to read this.
Okay.
Going really well. It's kind of proving the point in the review, isn't it?
Yep, absolutely.
A really well put together podcast. You guys are funny, informative, and professional.
Can't even say the word.
She's trying to say professional is what she's trying to say. It's not really coming
Keep
out.
It up.
But
she's having an attack of the old cerebral palsy at the moment, and she can't get it out.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for the 5-star rating. Are you sure you listened to us?
We're sorry.
Man, we're sorry. Yes. Thank you for lying and saying we're professional. That was it's doing us a solid.
Yeah.
Any shout outs?
There was one there that I don't remember writing it. I think one of you two wrote it, so I deleted it because it doesn't seem like something I would say. So, did either one of you guys write that?
Maybe not.
I feel like you wrote that, Kelly.
I didn't.
To the guy in the YouTube comments that said I bought a pavement princess. Bitch, please. Not even a week old, and I already had it off the roads.
Oh, you're talking about trucks.
Yes.
All right. Cool.
Because that's what they call it, right? Off the roads. You go off the roads. It's not off road.
Off the roads and onto like a gravel parking lot.
That's
somewhere. Yeah. I've had my Kia off road as well. for the record.
Can't believe you did that. You were like, I need a truck, don't I? And I'm like, no, you need an SUV, and then you bought a Kia. That's
a very inexpensive Kia, and it gets 5 liters to the 100-kilometer.
What?
Your truck do that? No, your truck doesn't.
My truck doesn't do that. My truck doesn't do that while idling. Christina's Toyota Yaris doesn't do that.
Modern technology. Anyways, Patreon supporters, we have 83 of them. Our newest is Joel, and they are sponsoring us for $3 for the 300th episode, which is coming up soon. Oh, should we announce what we're going to do about that?
Yeah, we need to talk about that.
Hey, we have a 300 episode coming up. We're going to have like a listener call-in kind of a deal. If you are interested, contact us on our Facebook page, and on the day, we will get you to call in live and tell us about something or do something. Trevor, what are we doing here? They're going to talk at us.
Yeah, they should call in with their favorite Slamfire memory over the past 300 episodes. Who was your favorite guest? How about the time you really enjoyed Kelly getting drunk on air? Whatever tickled your fancy in the past 300 episodes. Call in live and tell us about it on air. We'll give you about 2 minutes, then hang up on you, just like Brian Bolivar. Play the hang up game with the listeners.
We're gonna have a special guest on. Maybe
we are gonna have a special guest on.
Brian Bolivar on too. See if he's available.
Not short bus special. This person's actually special, like meaningful, and we look forward to it. So
that will be the listeners. The listeners will be the special guest, not Brian.
No.
Brian's special.
Short bus special.
Anyways, if you want to dial into that, send us a Facebook or something like that. Finally, please join one or more of our national firearms associations, such as the CCFR. Check us out on Gun Owners of Canada, and like us on Facebook. We're up to 2,151 likes, and that's generally where the conversation is going to be happening anyways, is on Facebook. So until next week, thanks for watching, everyone.
Bye.
So if you have any comments or questions for the show, please send an email to slamfireradio@gmail.com. Now go grab a gun and shoot something.
When the talking is over, it's time to get a gun.